So the first question is, how does the movie make you feel? So for me personally, I am beyond proud and inspired for Kartini character for her bravely fight against women's activism and feminism, especially for equal opportunity in education, fighting against the practice of child marriage and freedom of deviation in her country, Indonesia. So Kartini's message in this movie is to let us know that women should be protected from abuse and the power to voice their rights, to let everybody know what is the real thing about women's emancipation, what it feels like to fight for what is right, and what it feels like to have the desire to learn to know, but they could not do it just because one thing, patriarchal culture. So I am very impressed for Kartini that she has a woman's mind to make them become what Kartini want them to be, a strong, beautiful and independent woman. So at the same time, I felt so sad and emotional for what she has been through and struggling during the process of fighting in this movie. But overall, I'm happy that I watched it, but I wish I had more grounded and real than succumbing to happy moments just to smooth over the tough thing.
What and how I diagnose the problem is the individual cannot enjoy their own right and there is no freedom. Based on the movie, the person that affected by this age is women. They cannot get a proper education and also work. They only just need to get married regardless of age. Moreover, women also cannot have a choice for their future plan. For instance, they must accept husband who have determined by their family and to become Raden Ajeng. This especially happened to the nobility because they are bounded by traditional practice. For example, we can look at Kartini. She have no choice to get accept her father husband candidate, which is Joyo Diningrat. He is the Ketua Kabupaten Rembang and he already had 3 wives.
The message that I get from this movie is about the life of culture, tradition and example of women's power in the historical recreation. From this movie, Raden Ajeng Kartini provide a fresh look at this important historical figure in Indonesian history. This movie is important to make the people know the real things about women's rights. I agree with it because this movie can relate with organizational behavior. Firstly, in chapter 2, we have learned about motivation. This movie have the strong concept person, which has the person value and identity of themselves. For example, Kartini managed to open the first Indonesian primary school for Indonesian girls. The second is related in chapter 5, where there is the McClellan theory. This theory of needs highlight 3 of needs such as need for affiliation, achievement and the needs of power. For affiliation, that we can see from this movie is Kartini surrounded by influential who shape her thought and urgency. For example, Kartini get to learn about the new world from her brother books. The example for achievement is we can see in Kartini is the women in Indonesia are continuously struggling to achieve their aspiration and dream in negotiation with the demands of femininity. For example, the pingitan for the girl. The needs of power is the desire within a person to hold control or authority. For example, Kartini has the desire to fight for the woman's education and Kartini can influence her sister about the woman's right. The last reason is related to chapter 10, which is leadership. For example, Kartini from this movie is her mission and vision is to open the school for the children to get proper education and erase the gender equality.
Thank you, Aini. Next, I will continue with the next slide, which is suggestion to minimize the issues. The first one is voicing our personal opinion and thought. This is to ensure that we will not be oppressed by any other peoples and also help us to cope with the issues that we are facing with. In this movie, this helped Kartini to voice her own thought and opinion regarding her issues. The next one is negotiation, which people gonna state their own term and condition before reaching to an agreement. In this movie, this helped Kartini to negotiate her own term and opinion before agreeing to her own arranged marriage. The third one is creating a better channel of communication. This will help people to connect to each other and relay their own opinion and thinking. In this movie, this helped Kartini to relay her issues regarding to the woman oppression that she facing with. The last one is equality in every people should have the same opportunity to access toward a high quality of education. This will help Kartini to have more access to further on her own studies, which will help her to solve the rising issues. That's all from me. Thank you.